And welcome back to another Inside the Show. I'm your host, Scuffy, alongside Cougs. And we got another big episode for you guys today. We got to go over Player of the Month. We got to go over Team Affinity 4. We got to go over a big collection, apparently, which we completely botched on. But hey, Return to Kershaw is here. We got new event. We got it all. And we're going to be covering that all today, Cougs. But, Team Affinity 4 was a big drop, but I don't want to go straight into it. We got to go player a month. And let me ask you a general question. How many cards? I think we got one extra card this time in the drop for August player a month. Usually we get, I think, around 8 cards. I think we got 9 this time. How many cards from that program would you be willing to use?
On like a ranked seasons God Squad sort of
Yes.
thing. Devin Williams for sure.
Yep.
So number one there. Possibly Will Smith because he plays real well even with the lower contact against righties. He just kind of has a good swing. Maybe Luis Robert. He's kind of like a good guy to put in.
Yeah.
Maybe if you still have Buxton in, or you still have, or you're worried about like defense in the outfield, he's a good guy there. So, at least a couple. But yeah, it was an okay program.
I think it was okay. I mean, it started out the week good. Just having
Yes.
the content. I mean, any content's good. We haven't seen a pitcher in quite a while. I mean, it's probably been since what? Probably 19 when we actually got a pitcher. We got the classics from last year, but I don't think we got a pitcher since. Well, actually, that's the last time we got real player month was 19.
Yeah.
Oh, we
because
got some last year, but that was only Tatis and J-Ram.
and J-Ram. So, but they did bring back Paxton in 20
In
like
last
you
year.
said. Yeah. But yeah, I think he was the last one. And honestly, I was wondering when they were going to do it. I was a little surprised they chose this month to give it to a pitcher when they maybe could have juiced up like a Walker Buehler player of the month. I know he got a player of the month card in the last set, but I feel like him juiced up might have been better than Joey Votto. But I felt like they were going to go with a pitcher at some point, and with CJ Crone being one of the pretty much only candidates for the Rockies to get a finest at the end of the year, I felt like they probably were like, all right, let's go ahead and give it to Robbie Ray, because otherwise, who are we going to give a finest to for the Rockies? I think that's really what it came down to.
Yeah, you nailed it. I mean, that finest Rocky is going to be CJ Crone. That's
Yes.
pretty much a guaranteed deal since they didn't make him part of the program first off, and then not probably make him the finest. So that's a guarantee. And it's crazy. We're always talking about finest because we are in September. We have one more month of. I'm very curious what the 3 days in October they're going to do like a special like tops now player a month combination. Like that'd be kind of cool because 3 months like every day they do certain cards for October. Like, give
You
you
mean
tops
like
now.
the last like series of the year?
Yeah, like, each series, like, because it's in October, we don't get an October player month, of course, for those 3 days, but imagine doing, like, say, a tops now for the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, so that's, what, 12 different potential cards, even not more?
I mean, that'd be a good excuse to get some more content in for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm just saying. I thought that'd be kinda cool, but, shifting back to, August player month, I'm with you. I think Devin Williams is definitely a must for the bullpen. We all see how his live series was and even his finest card was last year. It translates to this year. I don't know. There wasn't that many cards. We got Bobby Dalbec,
Mhm.
if you want that 125 power. It's crazy. We got what, 2, 3 first basemen? We got the Patrick from the Cubs. We got Bobby. Oh, no, Renfroe was not first baseman, and then we got Renfroe, but we got a lot of power hitters, but
A lot of
I don't
power.
lot of power, but I'm not sure they will go into your, per se, God Squad. A lot of good budget cards, I would say, and free, of course,
Oh
grind that
yeah,
in there.
definitely. Yeah, like there is value in that program, absolutely. Um, I just think that player of the month, when it started this year with Buxton, and then you had Semien. Some people might have thought Semien was a little bit of a drop off from Buxton. Some people thought he was on par, and then you had Schwarber, and then from there it's been kind of a little decline in terms of like the excitement of who the Lightning card is. But like there's still value to be found in these player of the month programs. Plus, I think in this one, I think you got like a Field of Dreams pack, if I'm not mistaken. I think you got
Yep.
either a home run derby or an all-star pack. So it's like, dude, even if you don't care about getting Robbie Ray or any of the other guys, there's still stubs to be made you can still make stubs on like your tops nows that you've been doing. Like there are definitely things that, make the player of the month worth it. As far as the
Mhm.
lightning card, that's for me a little bit of a different story.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if Robbie Ray would be that usable. It's the missing the meta pretty much
Yep.
for that card. That's pretty much it. It's just doesn't play towards it's a nice card if you want, like, for a Blue Jays legend, like, team, of course, I believe he was on the Diamondbacks? Was he on the
Yeah.
Diamondbacks?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
On the Diamondbacks, and you could use those teams. I'm actually playing with my all-time Met team now with the release of TA4, so,
Mhm.
you know what's funny? And this is gonna be a little bit foreshadowing, how you said it was kinda declining once at the short Schwarber. Keep that word in mind when we go over a particular card they release over the weekend about declining. Um,
Okay.
it kinda what we discussed last time about Pedro will be
Yep.
discussed again for a
Yep.
particular card that was there, and that's where the word declining, but we'll get to that. That's a little foreshadowing, make you listen to later in this podcast. Don't jump off right now. But yeah, Player Month release on Wednesday. The new event was the Future Star. Yeah, the Future Star event was released on Wednesday. Was it released on Friday?
Future Stars was released the same day as the Player of the Month.
Yeah, Player Month. So we got the new Future Star event where we got the Assy Lacy. That card actually interests me because I loved watching him pitch in college. I haven't seen that card or played with the card yet, but it does interest me. We got the Deer Jones, and then we got another particular. I think it was Herrera, if I'm not
Uh,
mistaken, or am I getting the name wrong? I think I'm getting
I
the name wrong.
forget who it was. I can pull up the event right now. It was one of those future stars. You said it was Lacey,
Lacy and then
Herrera, Jeter. Yeah, you're right. You're right. It was
correct.
Herrera. I thought it was the Camposano, the pod.
That's why I was mixing up too. We're on the
Yeah,
same page. I wasn't sure it was the Padres.
'cause I think he was an event reward earlier in the year, if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken. Yeah,
Or just recently.
yeah,
That's what it was. But yeah, we got those cards, and then we got the new headliner. I know fast forwarding a little bit, but it's on the same subject with Future Star. Danae Pearson makes this return, and
mhm.
you know what intrigues me on that? It's actually a return of a Future Star card. I didn't think we are going to see a previous Future Star card that we previously had from, I believe, from last year. He was part of the Extreme. I think it was either Extreme Moments or Conquest. I forgot which one. But he was part of the Extreme program, and then you could get that many Pearson. But he makes his return, and that opens up the door, or like the forbidden door, I like to call it now, of releasing other classic cards into MLB Show 21. So I hope we see that come towards later this year. Because hey, I still boggles my mind. We're in September, Cougs, and we're only in the sixth inning program.
Yeah, yeah.
We talked
Kind of
about this
wild.
last time. It's just crazy.
And I mean, if you think about it, the game came out a month later. So, I mean, we're technically, when you look at it as a whole, we're not even halfway through MLB The Show 21's lifespan.
Yeah.
Like, there is
No.
so much time left for content. Granted, the content will slow down at some point. Like, it won't be as active in January and February as it is right now. But I mean, you think about the year as a whole, there is still a lot of content coming out. There's still a lot of time for this game to continue to pump out good stuff. So I mean, it's kind of wild when you put it in perspective because when you're at the end of the baseball season, you're like, all right, baseball's kind of dying down. It'll heat up in the playoffs, and then the season will be over. It's like not for MLB The Show. They keep going.
Yeah, exactly. So we have a lot more to go here, including what we received last Friday, and it's definitely not going to be the last Team Affinity season that's going to be dropped this year. We got Affinity season 4, and I feel like this happens every time when they start doing the reveals. We're like a little underwhelmed to start with the cards because when they first indicated that it was going to be fan requests and from fan requests, but they eventually took away that wording, and then made it to Legends and Feature Star cards. So we're like, okay, let's see what it is. And they released some cards that I think in the community, like, okay, this is not something that we would vote for because we're still thinking about that fan request wordage, if that's even a word, of what they posted on the calendar. So I believe they released what Paul Monitor,
Brett
was it
Saberhagen,
yes,
Hal
Saberhagen and other cards.
Newhouser.
Yeah, and then we were kinda a little underwhelmed, and then I think once Sunday and Monday hit with the leadoff episode, by the way, shout out to SDS for allowing us to be part of that, um, we got the release of then like a Frank Thomas type, and my God, that Frank Thomas we got, and then once they did the stream, we got the Mickey Mantle and so on. But it always I think we go into like a roller coaster emotions when a season, Team Affinity season is about to be dropped.
Yeah, it's so much content. It's overwhelming, but when there is that much content and there is that much available to grind, you also want the content you're grinding for to be good. You know, if we
Mhm.
got cards that were on par with Saberhagen and Newhouser and David Price the entire time, I think people's mentality would be different about it. But once you start releasing those, big names, like you said, with Frank Thomas and Mickey Mantle, and they didn't even release or reveal him. He just happened to be in there when you got in the Adley Rushman, I think, or they might
Yep.
have revealed him. I don't know. That's when people were like, okay, I'm down with this now because they were really they were not throwing out the winners there
Uh-huh.
when they started those reveals in the beginning of the week. But yeah, it's overwhelming. It's 30 new cards. It's, a bunch of showdown and conquest and mission grinding. Like, it's a lot to do. And of course, you want to try to get all of these guys because of these collections, which we're going to talk about here shortly. It's a lot. Team affinities are some of the biggest content drops of the entire year. So it's understandable that people want the cards they're actually going to be spending a lot of time on to be usable and to be relevant cards for a while.
Mhm. And there's a lot of, like, surprising cards that were I was happy that we actually got, like, a real good Luis Gonzalez
Mhm.
milestone 50 home run club card. I don't think we ever had, like, an end game type of card for Luis Gonzalez. I think it was just a home run derby card.
Which I thought was his best card ever because he
Uh,
actually had power. But now you get
you
him
get
with some
everything.
content or contact. Like, yeah, that blows that card out of the water.
Yeah, there was a lot of good cards that just notable. We got the new legend Vinny Castilla. I had a feeling like it was gonna be like that type of mid-tier type of legend that was gonna be revealed. Nothing like too major at this time. Who knows? They might still have something up their sleeve later. Barry Larkin got a good card.
Yeah.
There's like we're not used to seeing a good card from him, even for
Yeah.
his and then he gets his 30-30 card. But Kuz, out of all the cards there, is there like not the most noble names, but like maybe just like under the radar because there's a couple big names like the Mickey Frank and say Adley. Hey, we even got Honus Wagner, who was part of the original collection, now being free.
Yep. It's kind of
So
wild, isn't it?
it is. But let me ask you. I assume you played with a couple of these cards. Is there any particular cards that are like you might not jump off the bat, but like, hey, you need to try out this card?
For me, I've only used a couple, but some of the ones that I'm actually really excited to use that I haven't yet. I'm excited to use some of these pitchers. I'm hearing actual decent things about Walter Johnson this year. I'm hearing.
You know
Uh,
that he has outlier on his fastball and sinker.
I know that's my kind of thing where I'm like, oh man, I got to test him out because I don't know how I feel about that. I'm not usually a big fan of that type of setup on a player, but yeah, I'm curious to try out Maddox. I'm curious to try out Gibson. Um, yeah, there's some of the starters like that, and also another one that's I guess you could consider under the radar when you consider some of the other caliber of players. Duke Snyder is a card that I absolutely loved in MLB 19. I had him on my bench. I think he was an extreme reward or a some sort of or
It
a
was
old timers
the
or
Team
something.
Extremes, right? Like,
So
where you had to
yeah,
play each team or something like that?
yeah, it was something like that. But I started using that card, just to try him out and debut him or whatever. And he started just hitting everything. And I had him on my bench on my God squad, batting average over 500. I would just bring him in against righties for a pinch hit opportunity, and he would smash the ball. So he's a card that is always underrated, and I'm excited to give him a go at some point too. So it's kind of a few of them, I would say.
Yeah, mine is it's funny, it's because I love his Prospect Series card, it's Marco Luciano. I love
Yeah.
his swing. His swing is butter to me. So I it's very balanced card. It's not the best card, of course, of this drop, but it's a card that I'm willing to try out just because how comfortable I was in the beginning of the year with that Prospect Series card. And of course, I'm always going to mention my boy, Bob Feller. I love using Bob Feller cards, and now he's free. Nice, easy. He was the first one I unlocked actually. besides Mickey, I believe. So I'm very happy about that. The Julio Rodriguez card also looks pretty dope.
Yes.
So
Yes.
they did good job with the Future Star card. I think we were kind of nitpicking with Adley. I kind of wish he had a little bit more power to him,
Yeah.
but still, it's a switch hitting catcher. You're not going to get any better if you want like a switch hitting catcher besides maybe the Jorge Posada card, which it kind of is very similar card between the two, I believe. So I'm trying to think what else like. The Tom Seaver, I'm always like, I kinda wish his H per nines, which we'll get to in a little bit.
We're gonna
Um,
talk about that.
get in a little bit, which were more they actually gave MVP Jimmy Rollins. They actually didn't go well, they already released his veteran card of that year, I believe. This is, like, the first time, correct me if I'm wrong, where we have 2 cards from the same year for this particular player. Because I think did they release the veteran 2007 Jimmy Rollins this year, or am I thinking
Was it a
last year?
veteran? It was either veteran or second half heroes or
I
something.
think it was second half,
Yeah.
and that's from that year, and now they're releasing the MVP version of that particular card. I think that's the
Yeah.
first time we ever seen that.
I think the only like uh comparison to that would maybe just be if a player got either a tops now or a player of the month and a finest in the
Finest
same
card.
season. But
Yeah,
if we're talking about like actual legends and flashbacks, yeah, that's you don't see that very often, if at all.
no, but it's good to see that they did do that and not ignore well, not ignore, but acknowledge his MVP year for that.
Still
Um,
shafted him on his card though. Sorry.
yeah,
He
yeah,
does
yeah.
not have enough power for that season.
No, not right now. I kinda wish if they had this card, that would be a good program card if it was, like, say, in the 5th or the 4th, or when they started the 99s.
I
But
think he
he's
was
always
a
been part of one, so
wasn't he a sixth inning program boss last year?
and then he was a program boss, for 1st inning in 19, right?
Was he?
Yes, in 19. When did we go to SCS? That was 19, right?
Was it 19?
Yeah. Oh, no, they were oh, never mind.
I
Yeah,
don't
he was
even
part of the
remember.
program boss in 19. So,
Man,
2
that's a
years in a row.
throwback.
So 2 years in a row. So, and then, we got Pudge, which we normally see into he was a collection award, and I forgot who he was last year, to be honest. I think he was a World Series, or was he a
Pudge
program? He was a
was
program.
was he?
I think he was a program.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right, yeah.
Um, Let us know if we're wrong, but I'm pretty sure there. But yeah, and then we
I'm happy we got Biggio that can finally play catcher
well,
because the 93 Biggio, I don't think had catcher secondary. I think he was only a second baseman. So I'm
mhm,
happy we can finally put Craig behind the dish, which
yep,
basically means I should be able to make my father son team build before too long. You got Biggio and Biggio, you got both Vlads, you've got
yep.
um Pudge and is this kid still pitching?
I do not know.
I don't
I
know.
haven't heard anything recently. I mean, the
Yeah.
Giants are doing really good, so
Yeah, but either way, that team build, I'm excited to use a couple times towards the end of the year.
yeah, that's it's the same thing for me because I like to do the evolution thing where
Mhm.
they had 3 different cards within the game. We start with the lower tier and then move on up as we win games, so there's a lot of cards, that I'm able to do that with now. Um, yeah, I mean, overall, the back half, the reveals were really, really good and probably makes up this pretty much Team Affinity Season 4. I don't know, it has to be the best because the cards are just getting better. You can't really
Mhm.
compare the other because that's where we were at that point of the season. But the next one we all know is has to be finest. So
Yeah, I think that will be the last one. I doubt they do a Team Affinity 6. I think it's gonna stop at 5 once
okay,
Finest drops. I think they could, if they wanted to, do another set,
but what
but
would you do?
yeah, that's
That's
the
the
thing.
thing.
It's like you gotta find more legends and flashbacks, or you gotta,
Or
maybe make
maybe a
a
new
brand
series
new
they have
series.
on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. Imagine doing Future Star cards for players that are live series players that never got a Future Star card before,
Oh,
and what the original production was.
yeah, that'd be kinda cool.
I don't know.
Throwback future stars, that'd be kinda cool.
Yeah, do something like that, maybe. Like, even if they did like Griffey, like what he was supposed to be legend, like 99 speed Griff. That'll be the only way we ever see like a 99 speed
Yeah,
Griff
yeah,
because
yeah.
they thought it was speed. I don't know. Just spitting up. Um, or like a Tops Now one, classic one.
Yeah, I mean, they could just do classics in general. They could. I'm
Yeah.
sure every team has.
I would like classics in general. That'd be a good one.
Yeah, I'm sure every team has a throwback card at some point in Diamond Dynasty that people loved. I mean, the Royals, you go Mondesi. For the Red Sox, you could go. Yeah, I know. I
They
just
need to
got
do
you all
this now,
excited.
Cougs. They need to do this.
I just wish they. The only thing about this Team Affinity, I wonder how it would have looked if we would have still had the rights to some of these legends that we don't have anymore. Like, I don't think we have Ty Cobb, Ted Williams, Honus. I wonder
Hornsby.
how some of those guys would have. Did I say Honus? I meant
You
Hornsby.
meant Hornsby.
Yeah. I wonder how some of those guys would have fit in here too. But that's a question for another day.
It is. Overall, good, plenty of new cards to try out with, and yeah, I mean, just if you pick up the game right now, I mean, all you gotta do. What I liked they added for the offline users, is that they added play versus CPU. So if you're not an online player, you could just say plug. If you're doing the AOEs, plug all AOEs players into your lineup, play against the CPU. You're doing two things at once with the repeatable missions and then playing versus CPU. So just put that out there. So that was pretty dope,
Yeah.
especially if you're new to the game.
And even with the quality of cards, I know
Mhm.
you're saying about play versus CPU, but you could literally throw those guys. You could probably make a solid ranked seasons lineup with legends and flashbacks from each division. Like, you could
Exactly. Yep.
absolutely go out there and have some fun with these cards. You don't have to stay locked into the play versus CPU grind.
Yep. Exactly. So before we go, oh no, actually, let's go to it. The next thing. The next thing we get the return. So we ended the podcast. I remember last time asking if we were going to get a big collection. We were both 110% just saying, nah, too early. Too early because we just got the Mookie. We were wrong. We were wrong, and we get the return of Signature Series Clayton Kershaw, who gives me absolute nightmares from 19. I always bring it up where I face Goobs, who's part of the community. He actually pitched a no hitter against me with that card when we match up in ranked. So that's all I think about. I don't want to think about that card. He wasn't as we got awards Kershaw last year, and it didn't live up to 19's card. I'm very curious if this card will live up to 19.
Yeah. I think the reason the one last year didn't live up, it was an awards card, and I think the velocity was much lower.
Mhm.
I think the signature Kershaw has like around 90 velo, I want to say, so give or take a few points. I think that one last year had like low 80s velo or high 70s velo or something like that. So I think that was one reason that kind of made him a little odd, but I haven't looked at 19's Kershaw in a long time, so I don't know how exactly the attributes from this version and that version match up. I assume they're probably pretty similar. But in 19, Kershaw was the best pitcher from day one till the end of the year. And I still stand by the fact that I think he is the best pitcher ever in Diamond Dynasty. I think 19
Mhm.
Kershaw is the best starting
Better than
pitcher.
Kluber?
Better than Kluber, yeah,
Okay.
because Kluber, you could start to hit Kluber towards the middle parts to end of the year. Kershaw was just as good from day one till the end of the year. So,
Mhm.
um, I would say Kershaw 100% is the most difficult pitcher I've ever tried to hit. But that was also when the game played a little different in 19. We didn't even have perfect that year. I don't think. I
No.
think last year was the first year we got perfect. Obviously, we didn't have pinpoint pitching, and he was as accurate as he was. There's a lot of reasons where Kershaw could be better this time around, but there's also the 107 hits per nine, which has become a big deal this year.
Mhm.
107 hits per nine is, it's better than Pedro Martinez 102, 5 points better, which is great. But is it good enough when we're looking at some of these tops now cards that have like, 115 plus or 117 plus, or Robbie Ray got 120 plus for his month of August. So I don't know. This Kershaw, I want to say that he's gonna be good or he's gonna be solid. I don't know. I gotta try him out because I see a lot of mixed opinions on him being a collection reward.
Yes. It's a wait and see type of thing. I'm sure we'll bring this up next week when we get a little bit more on our way. But you mentioned how it compares to 19. Everything's pretty much the same. I have it up here. Just his K per nines are higher from last year. from 19, which is 113, the same H per nine. And then his walks per nine is higher for his card now. And that's about it. Everything else is the same. Yeah, everything else is the same. I for me, this H per nine has been a big subject lately for the past 2 weeks. We mentioned Pedro last week, and we're mentioning it now, and then we could just bring up the Scherzer card, which we just received over the weekend. What do you have? 10, was it just
What
101,
100?
100? It was just 100. And now, when you think of like 100, 107, you think that's a big number. But when you're going towards, and we see the research being done, shout out to Scan again, um, providing this research, going to the Hall of Fame to legend difficulties, it just shows how much different, or how much not different, how much H per nine affects the PCI size when facing someone, and how effective the pitcher is actually going to do against you, and how easable the pitcher is hittable because of it. Um, so it's been a big subject. I'm sure you have more to say because you mostly play more ranked than I do. Um, but from seeing the differences that the scans research reside, it's a little alarming, and why I say it's a little alarming, because it feels like I'm bringing back that keyword we mentioned earlier, is declining. Like, it's like declining the pitching cards from what we received earlier this year. I mean, look at Al Leiter. Al Leiter is, I guess, the perfect example. He was part of the first follows, right?
He was a flawless reward, yeah.
But he was the first one.
Lighter?
He
No,
was
no, there were other flawless
Oh, there was
rewards.
other follows, but he was like the first high one
Yeah,
that we
yeah, him and,
received.
I think it was him and
And Trevor
Trevor
Story.
Story, yeah.
Yep, it was him and Trevor Story, but his H per nines were 118. I know it was a no hitter card, but when you have more prolific pitcher, especially Pedro during his prime years, that his H per nines were, I guess, we say, were great for his time because he was one of the best pitchers at in his generation. It's kind of weird to see the difference, and then, like you said, the tops now cards for one particular game have more H per nines than these cards.
Yeah. I think just it boils down to something very simple, and that's the fact that people want to use these players that they're excited about. People want to use Pedro. People want to use this 99 Max Scherzer. You know, it's relevant content. It's new content. They're releasing cards in different ways than they've released in the past, which is cool. But people want to actually use them, and it's like, you know, I, yeah, you could at the end of the day, you could use Pedro, you could use Max Scherzer if you want. You could use these cards and go have fun with them and not worry too much about, giving up a couple more hits or whatever it is. But it's like if you want these cards to actually be competitive and you want people to use these cards at the higher levels, you got to give them a little bit more than what you're given. And if you want to go off of like realism and stuff, I'm sure there's some stats you could find that would justify Pedro having the hits per nine that he does, or Scherzer having it, or Kershaw, whatever. I'm sure you could find something that justifies that. But when we're talking about realism, after we gave Kyle Schwarber 100 power against lefties for hitting one home run in that month, and we're throwing on attributes for these tops now guys that make them better than some of these legend or flashback pitchers. It's like, dude, what are we doing? Like,
Mhm.
we've waited years to get Pedro Martinez in the game, and we get him, and he's not good enough, which should never be the case. It's Pedro Martinez. We're all excited about this Max Scherzer card coming out, 3,000 strikeouts. They release the card a day after it happens. It's relevant. It's exciting. And he comes out, he's got 100 hits per nine, which,
Mhm.
against any good player, they're going to light that up. When you have the hits per nine low, the PCIs get bigger. And then basically that means the opponent only really has to worry about timing and doesn't really have to worry about his PCI placement because the PCI is so big, he won't have a problem getting the ball as much. So, I mean, there's just a lot of issues with it. And, we just got Team Affinity 4 with Mickey Mantle, Frank Thomas, Adley Rushman, this Luis Gonzalez card, all of these absolute beasts at the plate. But then you give me a Max Scherzer that isn't even good enough to pitch to these guys. It's like, what are we doing, man? I don't get it. I just
Yeah,
simply don't understand the logic behind it.
I'll give you an example. I looked up a card that we received in May. That was late May, but almost 4 months ago, and that was Freddie Peralta's top down card. I'm not bashing on top down cards because I love the idea of top down cards, and I like them being juiced, but I kinda wish they were more on par and then not being better to say something that we dropped. Before I get to this example, a perfect example is probably the George Brett card that we got for the 6 inning program, and then they released the Joey Wendell top down card, which is which is arguably on par or just maybe better. Might
I,
not be a tell no name, but still, why would I use that card when you just release this card? It's a less more grind, and I get there. I kinda wish it was just more on par, just instead of being boosted. But anyway, back to my original example. Freddie Peralta was released in May. His H per nines, for this top sign card was 95. We are September what, 12th, the Max Scherzer, only 5 points higher as 100.
I like, I don't know. And it's a career milestone card.
Yeah.
This is for his career. This is the
He
best
almost
Max
pitched a
Scherzer
perfect
card we're
game
gonna
that game.
get. Yeah, I know. And none of it makes sense, man. You can
Uh,
try as hard as you want to try to find something to justify it, and it's just like, at this point, why? Why? What's the
yeah.
reasoning to make him not good enough? Like, you're giving me like a 99 Vinny Castilla, who, Vinny Castilla, he's a nice legend. He's cool. He's a good guy to have in the game for sure. But I mean, you're giving him the same overall as guys like Mickey Mantle and Julio Rodriguez. These are three very different players in very different time periods, all getting the same overall, and they're all usable. But then you give me Pedro Martinez, a guy that spans generations with how good his numbers are, and he's not good enough. It's like, what are we
Mhm.
doing here, man? I don't get
Yeah,
it.
and especially during this year, we already had 2K release, we had Madden, FIFA's on display. Let's just go crazy.
Yeah,
Let's go crazy with
there's
this.
there's no harm in it.
No.
Like
More
I don't
more
know.
more so it's gonna pull users back to play, like, "Look, this nasty card is out." Even if it's for a day, they might if they get sucked in again, they get sucked in again. If they don't, hey, they're on their way, but still that card is going is that Pedro say if you're a casual player, is that Pedro going to suck you back in? Maybe the name does, but if you know how the game plays and you're just a yearly you're a cycle base where you just shift from one sports game to another, I don't think that's gonna really pull you back in. That's gonna
No,
be like, "Oh, I could grind that later when I get to it." But if
yeah,
it's a card where, say, the hardcore community is being excited about it and the hype is there. It's like, oh man, I better hop back on this game and try this out because everyone's recommending to try this out card. And you might get sucked back in. Oh, hey, now I got this whole Team Affinity season 4 to get dropped. I'm gonna start playing all these cards and play from there. And they're playing more than you typically use. But I don't know how those things work. We're not game developers. We don't do that type of research on the backhand side.
yeah.
So
But you know what? Another thing I think is interesting. I don't know if this point holds much weight at all because they might not even care. But I'm actually hearing really good things about 2K this year, and a lot of the times I feel like right away, whether 2K is good or bad, people are bashing it right off the rip to begin with.
mhm.
This year, I'm hearing a lot of good things. People are having fun. People are enjoying the game. So I don't know if the positive reception to 2K so far has any impact on what MLB The Show decides to do. Because I mean, they're aware, they know the game's out, they know what games they're competing with the sports gaming market. Um, but that once again should provide even more of an incentive to make these cards good. People are
Yeah.
enjoying that game, but it's like, hey, we got 99 Hank Aaron here with maxed hitting attributes. Go have fun.
Mhm.
Go try to get him.
Y-
Or we
y-
have 99 Corbin Burns coming out as a finest card with maxed out hits per nine. Go try to pitch or go pitch with this guy against some of these big legends or something like that. Like that's exciting. People like that stuff.
Oh yeah. It's funny you mentioned 2K because I got sucked in.
Yeah, is it
I've been
good?
playing I've been playing my team. I haven't been playing anything else, and I got sucked in. I do more offline grinding. They have a lot of offline grinding for their, ultimate team mode, which is my team, where I wish that was in MLB Show. What I made the point earlier is that I'm such a casual to 2K, but having those offline modes I know we have conquests, I know we have extra innings and stuff like that, like showdowns, but they have these modes where it gets you to learn on how to play the game and get you more comfortable of how to play the game. Like domination is strictly play versus CPU, but you still have some tasks to do. But you're trying as you keep on playing, you're achieving something,
And the
or like a
difficulty
new
goes
card.
up, correct?
Yes, the difficulty goes up. It
Yeah.
depends on what you wanna play with. You either because they have, like, 3 stars. If you play on, like, pro, you get 1 star. I mean, veteran pro it's like their rookie pro you get 1 star pro, 2, all-star 3, and then if you do the higher difficulty, you get actually a card for it. Um, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun. It makes me learn the game and be comfortable with it, and then maybe move over to P versus P where it gets more interesting, but, I've been having fun with it. It's been a lot of fun so far, so, uh, but now
That's good to hear because I
yeah.
feel like 2K has been getting trashed for a while, and I feel like people have been unhappy with the product. So, but once again, that should just provide more incentive for MLB to release exciting content to get people back on their game, especially when
Yep.
baseball, right now for a lot of baseball fans, it's exciting, but for maybe the more casuals, when
Mhm.
the NBA starts up or football starts up. We just had an awesome week 1 of NFL football. Like, people are excited about a lot of different things. But MLB the show still has to try to keep their attention on
Mhm.
baseball at least throughout the postseason. So,
Yeah, at least through this month. Once we get through this month, it's going to heat up again, though, when we get the postseason program.
mhm.
But, like, if we had those if those cards were as you like, the Pedro was a little bit more increased, those cards would keep us content through this month. I mean, we're still gonna get the tops now too, so I don't know. We're just speaking from experience and what we see through the community itself, like, about these cards, and, we feel like, voicing that through this platform.
And one thing I just want to, like, we can maybe tie it up with this. We give a lot of praise to SDS when they release good content and relevant
Mhm,
content and exciting stuff. And, I think we give praise on a bunch of areas of the game that they do show a lot of improvement in. But, we also want this game to be as good as it can be. And we want this game to continue to grow. This game was like the second best selling game of the year or something like that.
still is.
Yeah, it still is. Um, and so we're going to critique the game when we feel like it needs to be critiqued too, because we've been around this community for years. We know kind of the ins and outs of the game. Not saying we're like elitist or anything like that. I'm just saying we have experience with this game for multiple years, and we know what people want in this game, and we know
Mhm,
what people get excited about. And so when there's certain things that come out that don't quite meet the potential of what it could be, we're gonna criticize it. We're gonna call it out. And you know, some people take that as complaining, or some people take that as whining. Whatever you want to take it as, it doesn't matter. We're gonna continue to try to do whatever we can to push the needle on this game to continue to make it as good as it can be. And we want to give the developers as much feedback as they can get. So
exactly.
they've told us in the past that they want to hear our raw, unfiltered thoughts about it. They want to hear us, you know, like when we're playing, they're like, we want to hear you guys rage because that means you're passionate and there's something there that's
Mhm,
important to the development of this game. Like, they listen as much as sometimes it seems like they don't. They listen. So that's why
yep,
we sometimes can be as hard as we are on the game. And I just don't want people to get that confused with complaining or whatever. It's constructive criticism to keep this game moving forward.
yep, exactly. I couldn't say any better. You nailed that one. So yeah, we'll see where they go from here. We do have some new stuff. Even though we talk about stuff that was already released, we have some new stuff that's coming to us. We got Keith Hernandez program coming today, baby. My boy Keith, he's joining the show. It's funny because tonight is the premiere of episode 1 of the '86 documentary that's a 30 for
Yeah,
30 on ESPN, which I'm excited about.
I'm
Um,
is that how many episodes is that?
I believe there's 4. It's either 4 or 5 around there.
Okay.
So I'm excited for that.
I was thinking
It
about waiting till all the episodes were out and then just watching it all at once, because I definitely want to see that too.
I can't do that because I need some positivity for my Mets. I know we beat the Yankees 2 out of 3. We had the biggest Lindor game, I mean, his premier moment on Sunday, but I just need something to get me through right now. So I'm excited because that whole team is just they were pretty much the bad boys kind of thing where they were a team that you didn't wanna mess with. They did everything, like, to push your buttons, and they actually won it all. And there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff we're gonna hear about, I'm sure, so it's gonna be a lot of fun, including with Keith Hernandez. So he's gonna be what you expect It's going to just be a high contact card, low power, maybe like around 60 to 70 power, as we've seen previously, but it'd be fun for us Met fans and maybe Cardinal fans to use them in theme teams.
Question for you now:
Yeah,
who's going to be your starting first baseman on your Mets theme
still
team?
Pete. Still Pete.
Still
Still
Pete.
Pete.
You got
Yeah,
Pete. You
still
got
Pete.
Olerud now. You
Oh, yeah,
got
I forgot about Road. Yeah.
you got
Yeah.
Keith. Like you got some options over there. You could. I
Even
mean, dude.
Chef,
Yeah.
if I
Yeah.
really wanted to. I think
Imagine
he
they.
has secondary first. Either has secondary first or third.
You talking
Um,
about who?
the Sheffield card.
Dude,
I
he's
don't
got
think
secondary shortstop. What is that?
what?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
the signature Gary Sheffield has secondary position of shortstop.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
Wow. Okay.
it's kind of
I
wild,
put
huh?
Matt
And he's
Short,
got
put
some arm
Lindor
strength.
second. Yeah. He was going to eventually be on my team. I think he's gonna be. I can't remove Ronnie just yet because Ronnie's so good for me.
Ronnie's good.
Um, and I have Jed Lowry at second, the New York Met legend that only played 4 games.
Are you
Um,
gonna pick up 99 Lindor for that team?
I already did. Spent all my stubs. That was from my BR's winnings.
You put
So
him at
yeah,
second.
yeah. I could put him a second. Put Chef as short. See how it is. I'm
You
down for
got
that.
you got options.
I do. But yeah, that's what I haven't made. I played 29 games total in rank this year on my main account. I played a lot more in my secondary, with my teams, but for my main account, I only played 29 games. I haven't made World Series this year because I haven't really gave it a try. So I'm going to do it with the all-time Met team. See,
Yeah,
give
do
me
it.
progress on. Um, so yeah, but you know what? Bringing up ranked. Before we get to another thing, dude, so many people just quit within like the first 3 innings. I never realized. You guys always talked about it, even for content creators, but people just give up very easily in ranked than years past.
Yeah, I definitely. I don't know what it is, and it always ruins starting pitcher debuts. like
Or
like
just
if
be
you're
able to use them for you.
yeah.
Even speaking of casual, you might be, oh, hey, I just got my Bob Feller card. I want to use them. And then someone quits and you're like, God
So now
damn.
I got to wait 4 games.
Yeah, I don't know. People, I mean, for me, for ranked, I could be down by 8 in like the first 3 innings. I know I have a shot because I have so many more innings left. If it's BR, understandably, I'd be like, I'm just saying, I want to get out of this game. But ranked is a different story, man.
Yeah,
I don't know.
ranked is it is it's a circus this year. Let's just leave it at
Yeah,
that.
I'm ready to dive in. I'll give a week report on how it's going.
Yes,
Play like
please
I
do.
before. I played 2 games so far. I tried out Tom Seaver, pitched 2 innings. That was it. So now I'm
And
going
then
to be.
the opponent quit, or he only
The
lasted
opponent
2
quit.
innings? Yeah,
Opponent
okay.
quit. Yeah, I mean I was hitting. I'm not gonna lie, but
Yeah, yeah.
um,
He might have only lasted 3 to begin with.
but but yeah, when you used to what I like about the Tom Seaver, even though his H per nines is not that the greatest, his velocity differences in his pitches are really good. Like he could throw up to 99 and then his 12-6 and changeup go around like low 70s. So that's what and he has a sinker, so he does have a better pitch, but he was good so far. But yeah, I'll keep you updated for that.
Thank you.
I'm excited to get that. But I am going to be playing BR still because we get new rewards today as well. We already saw the program card that you get, which is the 90. Is it 99 Raleigh or is it
Thought it
97
was a
Raleigh?
96.
96.
I
Okay. Either
think. I
way,
could be wrong though.
we got his awards card last year, and now we're getting his signature series card, which he's honing the A's uniform. Let's see real quick. I could figure that out.
He should be a
It
solid card.
96, yep. He'll go straight into my bullpen. I love Raleigh cars, man. Raleigh and Eckersy, I always loved with their funky delivery and their repertoire. And then I like Raleigh because I like the fork ball when I know I could place it below the zone. I feel like a lot
Yes.
of people get fooled about that because they're always looking for the sinker from him and then able to place that for out pitch.
That's why I
But yeah,
like I've liked Lee Smith a lot this year because you've got he's got the fastball that's really quick, like triple digits, and then you can, mix in that cutter, and then you drop that fork ball, which basically looks like a circle change in the dirt.
yeah,
So the fork ball can be really effective this year if you throw it right.
mhm. I agree. So I'm excited to use them. And then I'm making this bold prediction. This is the return on Kluber right here. I think this card is going to be potentially has possibility of being the best card in the game just because of pinpoint and what his repertoire. and I think it's gonna be the return. I say the return of Endgame Arrieta, which we haven't had since MLB The Show 17, since now we get his no-hitter flawless card, and we expect high H per 9 since it's a no-hitter card. He should have a sinker and a cutter, and now you add pinpoint with the high velocity he already has. This could be a Kluber type card right here.
Yeah, absolutely. He has the weapons. It's just a
Yep.
matter of, is he gonna have 101 hits per nine? We'll find out today, Scuffy.
I doubt it. Being a no-hitter card, it's and a flawless card, it's gotta be in the 120 plus.
It better be. Or I'm gonna freaking
Or everyone's
light a
gonna go
fire. I can't do it anymore, man. But I am kind of excited though, because I'm finessing the system a little bit. I went
Uh-oh, you got
12 and
pack
0.
ready?
I went 12 and 0 2 weeks ago. Haven't gone into BR since, so I should be
Okay.
good to go. And what's nice is my 12 game was Acuna, so I'm also gonna make a little bit more stubs, which is gonna be cool. So
That's not bad.
I'm ready to go. I'm ready to try out.
Are you going straight to Arrieta and don't care who else is getting released?
Well, I mean, I would say yes, but
Uh-huh.
the question marks on their tweet would line up with awards Mike Trout. I'm just saying
No.
it's either Mike Trout or Ryan Braun, but
Ryan Braun. Let's throw that name out here.
yeah, if it ends up being Trout, I may cry today because I will get to debut him right away, and I couldn't be more excited. But that's a pipe dream. If it happens, it happens.
It makes sense though.
I am excited about Arrieta though.
It makes sense because we got him in a program before. We got him in the collection last year.
I think
And
in
then
18, his immortal was like
oh god.
it was like an events thing or
This could be
something.
big.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there is the possibility. I'm sure there's probably a name that I'm not thinking of that fits there, but if it
What
ends up being Trout, I might freak out.
oh, before we get out here, I just want to look up awards Mike Trout and see what a parallel 5 would look like.
My heart
I'm
can't
gonna
take
read
it.
off
Scuffy.
I'm gonna read off his stats, attributes if he had parallel system.
I may not even like, dude. Obviously you
you
get the pack. You want to sell the card
Uh-huh.
for the most stubs. I may not even sell him, dude. I may sit on those million stubs just because it's 99 Mike Trout.
All right, you want to hear it? This will if we're getting the card MVP Trout and it's the same attributes that we got last year. This is what his parallel 5 card would sound like. So it would be 121 contact against righties. It will be 102 contact against lefties. He already has 125 power against righties. It will be 117 power against lefties, 91 vision, 125 already there. His clutch would be 113. Durability would be 96. Fielding would be 99.
No,
His
in
arm,
99, really?
yeah, if we're
Oh
power
my
5.
goodness.
His arm would be 94. Accuracy 95. His reaction 98. His speed 95. And then 73 stealing, and then 57 base running aggressiveness. So yeah,
And that's parallel 5. That's
that's
parallel
parallel
5.
5. Yep.
Oh man. All right. Well, I'm not gonna get too excited because
Yeah,
we
don't
don't
get too
need.
excited too. It's like I thought we were going to know before today. Like we were recording, I thought they'll release it at 9 a.m. 6 p. Like they did for Jake Arrieta, but they
Oh,
didn't.
you mean for
So
like the tweet?
yeah, so I think if it was Ryan Braun, they would already tweet it. I'm just saying. I don't want to hype you up even more,
I can't take it,
but I
Scuffy.
think they already would tweet that because if it's Ryan Braun, I'm not going to get Ryan Braun.
Yeah, Jake Arrieta at that point's the easy pick.
Yeah, I mean Ryan Braun could have 125 all over. I don't like playing with him. I don't know. It's just me. Or who knows? All
Fair
right.
enough.
So we'll have that to talk about next week. And I don't know if we're getting anything else. I didn't see anything else on the calendar real quick that we might get in the future. We might have a new calendar because everything is leading up to today. So we'll have a new calendar probably later today when they drop, which we'll discuss next week. But yeah, Cougs. Oh man, I can't believe we already have a pack. Uh, I'm excited for you. I'm excited
Yeah.
to see how the debuts go, whether it is Trout or Arrieta. That should be a
You
lot of fun.
you put me on, man.
I know.
Playing on.
I hope I'm not wrong here, man. I
No,
feel
no,
bad.
not that. You put me on. Xbox Battle Royale runs are just different, man.
They are different.
36-1 in my last 37 games.
It's literally once you get up to like you get into sweaties in the PlayStation, maybe into like 4 into whenever. Xbox, you don't get into like 8 or 9 or above,
Yeah,
if
yeah,
even.
yeah, yeah.
Sometimes you just get lucky. So like all my runs, if they're ending right now, I feel like I'm gloating, but it ends around 8 or 9.
Yeah.
It's the experience of BR games and the player base. Because there's no need to put now you're like, oh, you don't have crossplay on. The reason why we don't have crossplay on is because of the lag
Mhm.
between the two. And I don't have crossplay on PlayStation either. So, but yeah, it just hits different.
Yeah, that controller is amazing.
It is. It really is. I kind of wish there was a control like this for PlayStation so I could play back on the PlayStation, but it
Yeah.
is what it is. Um, so yeah, we'll have that much to talk about next week. This was another fun episode, of course. Appreciate you guys tuning in. And you guys been showing a lot of love lately. We've been seeing the numbers and you guys been showing love, so we appreciate you guys for that. And yeah, thank you guys for keep on listening, showing the support. You'll get to this episode will be posted on YouTube, so you get to watch this on youtube.com/inside the show. I know the past 2 episodes were only audio. That will change for this episode as you're hearing or seeing this right now. So make sure to check us out over there. Be sure to check out our Twitter, which is Inside the Show PC. Once again, Inside the Show PC. We not only talk about updates, we give you some cheat sheets as well as we have in the past for the Player Month. We'll have a BR program one hitting the the Twitter today. Wow, I couldn't almost botch that. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning over there as well and showing the support. We'll hope you guys have fun grinding, still grinding Team Affinity 4 because there's still a lot to do. Playing with all different cards. Have fun grinding BR if you're trying to get the new flawless cards. And make sure to follow my boy Kooks at Kooks46 on Twitter. You'll find all his socials over there. I'm at Scuffy Mickey TV. You guys have fun grinding, wherever it is. We'll catch you guys next time on Inside the Show. Have a good one.